I wanted to play you this audio, and I wanted to get your thoughts on this because I think this is really important. Everybody on the far right, not everybody, but a lot of people on the far right, including some of the biggest pundits, are talking about how a transgender woman went into a Gold's Gym. I don't know if you heard about this over the course of the last 24 hours. So this is audio of a singer by the name of Tish Hyman who confronted this transgender woman, and she started going into a tangent because this transgender woman went into the woman's restroom laced with profanity. She was eventually kicked out, but I want you to listen to this audio.
Gold's Gym! Men! Grown men with big in the women's locker room! And that's why I'm getting kicked out, and I want to make sure the girls know. Everybody saw that man in the locker room. No one's saying and I'm done with it. It's stupid. It's dangerous. Me naked in front of a man without my permission. I'm the one who gets kicked out the gym, y'all. I'm terminated for not wanting men in the locker room.
All right, so pretty wild audio there. By the way, she was kicked out, and I believe rightfully so. She was causing a disturbance. She was throwing out vulgarities, and I think what she did was far more damaging to any child that was there than some transgender woman in a woman's locker room. That's just my personal opinion.
Gotcha. Well, I give some context. So I lived in Canada as another country, and when I was very young, I had a very attractive girlfriend at the time, and one of the things that I knew she was always concerned about was just being ogled by men. And so what I walked into in the Canadian gyms is they have a separate area for women to work out. And so, you know, when it comes down to women, I think that they need to be protected. In this particular case, I think this woman, I know that she's operating from a place of fear. She can address that with management. And, and in this particular case, I don't have the details because this is my first time hearing this entirely. If that concern exists, it's up to the management to do something about it. And same for the individual that was being referenced, they too deserve the right to be safe and operate in space.
I don't disagree with you. Here's my opinion on this. And by the way, I don't even think this is a top 5 issue or a top 10 issue, and I'll get to that. I believe if you've had the surgery, for lack of a better term, the snip, I think you should be allowed to use the women's locker room, okay? If you haven't had, and I don't know how you would police something like this, but if you haven't had the surgery, I think it's probably inappropriate if you have male genitalia to be going in the woman's locker room. Now, with that being said, the idea that MAGA Republicans want to put in your head or my head or anybody's head is that transgenders, they're going into these locker rooms to molest your children is not true. The idea that I understand that we want to protect women, but and I also understand that women or young they don't want to. If you're a young girl, you don't want to see a naked man or a transgender woman with male genitalia. I totally get that. I'm on their side there, but why is this such a big issue with the right? That's my question. There's so many more prevalent things that we should be talking about, which is food stamps, welfare, health care, inflation. I mean, I could go on and on that are, to me, far more important than a transgender woman going into a female locker room at Gold's Gym.
Yeah, no, definitely. So to my friends on the right, please hear me, okay? It's not that this is not important, because we all want to live in a society where people are safe. But what comes down to it, if you pay attention to what happens every time a Republican comes into office since I've been alive, they deploy supply-side economics, meaning tax cuts for the wealthy, making the wealthy even wealthier and widening the wealth gap. And then they deploy this other tactic where they try to distract you with all these culture war issues. Not saying, again, it's not important, but when it comes down to it, when people are running out of food, when people are becoming homeless by the day, when people cannot afford their electricity bill, cannot pay for their cars, for example, in Nevada, we are #1 in car repossessions, #3 in foreclosures. We have the highest car insurance costs in America. These things take priority.
I agree.
I was at the Public Utility Commission last week, and I was there on behalf of my 90-year-old grandfather, my 86-year-old grandmother, my 89-year-old great aunt, and Mom, I know you're watching, still not going to share your age. I said to them, look, they're on fixed incomes. What are they supposed to do if you increase the price of everything? And in Nevada specifically, there's no reason why we can't produce energy in a more cheap and become an exporter on a grand scale, because at a time when all these headlines in Las Vegas are so negative, because everybody knows what's happening here with our economy and how people are losing their jobs, businesses can't keep up unless they're catering to the 1%, then God damn it, why not focus on us? And that's what really should be focused.